Hi guys! Today I'll be showing you my fabric haul from Sicily, Italy. So if you want to see what I got, stay with me. Okay, you guys, this is one of my favorite videos to make because you know I love fabric. As you can see behind me, I have more fabric than I could probably ever sew. Um, but I bought more on my trip to Italy and I cannot wait to show you. So welcome. My name is Marcia and this is Gather and Stitch. So today I have a fabric haul for you, and for me it's a special fabric haul because I got these fabrics on my trip to Italy. And for those of you who have not been shopping outside of the United States, this was very different for me. Most of the time when I go fabric shopping, you can go into a store and you can browse around and touch your fabric. You can pick it up and hold it up to the light and see how drapey it is. And you know, and I've been fabric shopping in several different countries, and it has all been like that. You are able to go into the store and get up close and personal with the fabric and touch it and pick it up and, you know, scrunch it up to see if it wrinkled. Okay, not in Sicily, folks. Not in Sicily. You walk into the fabric store and there's long tables in front of large bookshelf looking shelves, and all your fabric is stacked on it. And it is stacked in such a way where you can see the side of the bolts, and you point to the fabric that you want to see, and the shopkeeper or the people that work there will go and they'll pull the fabric one by one, and they'll lay it on the table and unroll it a couple of rolls so you can see it and look at it and you can touch it then, but at no time can you pick it up and see how it drapes. And no, they're very specific. They do not want you touching the fabric on your own. It's almost like you have to be supervised. So that was a little different for me because, you know, I'm just used to walking in and browsing and touching and picking up, and I just assumed it was that way as well in Sicily, and I learned very quickly that it is not that way. So there are a couple of stores where the people that worked there were not so nice, so I just walked out and went to a different store. And honestly, that's what I recommend, because if they're not going to be kind, knowing that you're obviously not from there, and they're not going to be kind to you, I'm not going to spend my money there. So that's how I feel, but you do you. So I did find, you know, a couple of fabric stores that were very gracious and were patient with me, and we worked through the language barrier with what little Italian I knew and what little English they knew, and with the help of Google Translate, and I was able to make some purchases that I am really excited about. So let me show you the first one. The first store I went to had beautiful fabric, but it was a lot of it was silk, and that was just way out of my price range. And I felt like it didn't really fit my lifestyle. Like I don't work outside the home. I am mostly in my home. I do babysit my granddaughter a few days a week, and I have a vintage booth that I have to go out junking for and thrifting for, and you know, wearing silk is really not in my wheelhouse as far as a practical wardrobe. You know, making something for my everyday wardrobe. And if I'm going to spend that much money on fabric, I want to be able to wear whatever I make pretty regularly and not just have it in my closet for special occasions, because honestly, I don't really have too many of those. So the first fabric I got is a cotton, and it is a cotton lawn, and it is, let me kind of unfold it here for you, and let me kind of scoot back so you get an idea of the scale of the print. And I really fell in love with this blue. Like, this blue is in my wheelhouse, and the oranges and the yellows, and there is some green. Let me just hold it up, see if it'll, without the shadow. My light's on. So I really loved this, and I thought some type of dress, and I believe I got 3 meters of this. Let me just see. It does have a black stripe on the bottom, but it is not, I don't believe it's a border print. I think it's just salvage. But I think I remember I got 3 yards of this. Let me see. Or excuse me, 3 meters. Yes, I got about 3 meters of this. So a little bit more than 3 yards. Maybe 3.5. And this was in a cotton lawn, and it is very soft. Very soft and drapey. You can see how drapey it is. So of course, you know, I love to sew dresses. I think if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I just love sewing dresses, and every fabric I see, you know, dresses pop into my head. And a couple years ago, Whitney from Tomcat Stitchery made she went to Italy for a family wedding, and she went to Rome and went fabric shopping in Rome, and some of the fabrics she brought back were just, I thought, were so gorgeous. And last year when I was in Italy, I was hoping to find some printed linen, and I just could not find any. They just had the plain solid color linen, and it was beautiful, but that's not what I wanted. So I ended up not buying any linen at all when I went to Germany. And a lot of the stores that I went into in Sicily, the linen that they had was solid color. So the second store I went into, they only had 4 pieces of linen that were printed, and one of them was this. And I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can tell whether or not the print is upside down or not. Okay. Okay, here it is. And this is selvage to selvage. So you can see that the design is kind of printed horizontally. Like this is kind of a square, and the villa is kind of printed on it a little. Diagonally. But I just loved this print. I really wanted some fabric that, you know, it looked very Italian, like you could tell I got it in Italy, like I didn't go to Joann's and get it Well, I'm not going to Joann's to get anything anymore, but you know what I mean. So I loved this. I loved that it had lemons on it. I loved the blue. I loved that it was kind of a all over random print. And I got everything they had on the bolt on this, and I think it was only 3 meters. And that's another thing too, that when they have bolts of fabric there, like I guarantee you there's no more than 4 yards of fabric on those bolts. They just don't have the quantity, or the fabric stores I went to did not have the quantity of fabric on the bolts. Like I couldn't have gotten probably 5 yards of fabric. That is not a common thing there. Let me see how many I got here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I got 3 meters of this one as well. And I think this is beautiful. And it's a printed, I want to see if it will. I'll zoom in on that. It is a printed linen and it is beautiful. And my phone is putting a shadow on the fabric, but I'm hoping that you get the idea. And if not, when I go back and watch it, I'll insert close-ups of the fabric too, if the camera is not filming it very well. Okay, so those are the first 2 fabric stores I went into, and I think they were in Agrigento or very close to Agrigento in Italy. Sicily. So the next store I went into is the one where I bought the most fabric, because they had printed linen in there that I just really thought was beautiful. And you know, that's what I was there for, right? Printed linen. So this next one is just all over. Oh, I have one of my fabric labels on there. Just all over. I love the shade of blue. It's kind of like a cross between like an azure blue and a periwinkle. And I believe I got 4 meters of this. And I just thought it was just so pretty. And I could see a tiered dress in this. A dress with a tiered skirt. And then I got this next piece of printed linen. And I got this because I thought a pair of wide leg pants in this with the kind of leaves, the foliage, that would be pretty. And I could wear whatever kind of shirt I wanted with it. And I thought, you know, some linen pants for this. And also, these are my my youngest daughter. These are her colors that she loves. She loves this like a terracotta rust color here. And I could see something made for her out of this as well. So I got, I think, 2 meters of this. For, and this is linen. Now they also had, this last store that I went into, they also had beautiful viscose. And I wasn't there for viscose, but I saw this fabric. I had exhausted my my choices of printed linen. And like I said, they only had maybe, each store maybe had 5 different printed linens. This last store I went into had more, but none of them were really in my color palette that I liked. So I asked about viscose, and he showed me this, and I thought, yes, I mean, it has the dark blue in it that I like, and it's a patchwork. And I'll just hold it up so you can see the whole thing. It's a patchwork, and it's a rayon challis or viscose challis, and it does have a little bit of a texture to it, so I'm going to call it a crepe. Now, when I called it a crepe, I tried to call it a crepe in Italian. He really didn't know what I was talking about, but patchwork is pretty much the same word in Italian as it is in English, so he understood the patchwork word I said, and viscose is the same word in English as it is in Italian, but I just thought this was gorgeous. And I could see this in some type of maxi dress just because it's light and flowy. And the print is busy, so just a plain, you know, no frills or ruffles or, you know, complicated design features, just kind of like a flowy maxi dress would be pretty in that. That's what I envisioned this. And honestly, no, that's a little too busy with my gingham that I have on. Okay, so I went to go check out, and I saw this last piece of fabric hanging on a mannequin. It was just draped over a mannequin, and I thought, that is the most beautiful fabric I have ever seen. And I walked up to it, and I asked him in Italian, is this silk? He said, yes, silk. And I said, oh, I said, you know, quanto questo? You know, quanto costa? And he said, way too much. That's what he said. He said, honey, that's out of your price range. You just need to, you know, don't touch it and come back over here. Because if you have to ask, it's too much. That's what he said. No, he didn't. He told me, and I said, oh, no. Just like that. And, you know, sometimes I will say things and do things before I really think them through. So when he told me the price, and I said, oh, no. He said, oh, for you? He said, because I was already buying 3 other pieces of fabric. He said, oh, I'll do this much. So, you guys, I got this gorgeous piece of silk. And it's 2 meters. So, look how gorgeous this is. And I am going to do a tank dress just with spaghetti straps. And I also, I have the 2 picked out, and I believe there's one by Cashmerette that is just a slip dress. There's one by Cashmerette that I've seen, and I'm a Cashmerette member, club member, so it's free for me. And I have also seen a slip dress pattern on Seamwork, and I'm a Seamwork club person. I'm not sure what they call themselves, but I subscribe to Seamwork, so I get so many free patterns a year. Anyway, I have seen a slip dress pattern on Seamwork, so I am going to twirl both of those and see which one I like better before I cut into this silk. But that in my head, he only had 2 meters, so I got what he had left, and he gave it to me for $50 a meter, and which was way less than it was priced at. And I'm telling you, it is not unusual for the silks in Italy to be over $100 a meter. And that's why when he told me the price, I was just like, oh no, you know, that was just my reaction to it. But this lovely bit of silk is going to be a slip dress that I will wear. I will wear it. So I may not wear it junking, but I will wear it. I will wear it. Every Wednesday is date night at the Mexican restaurant, and so I see this coming out every Wednesday. This is going to be my date night Mexican restaurant going dress. So there you have it. That is my Sicilian fabric haul. I am so excited about getting some of these things sewn up. And like I said, in my head, I kind of know what patterns I want to use for them. Not 100% set in stone, but I am not going to hoard this fabric because I want to enjoy it. And of course, I do love looking at it, but I don't want it to still be, you know, on my shelf in 2 years. I want to make up something and wear it and love it. So as soon as I decide on what patterns I want to use, like for the slip dress, for the silk, I already know I want a slip dress. So I have not made a slip dress yet though, so I don't know what pattern will, you know, tickle my fancy. So I'm going to twirl a couple of patterns, a couple of slip dress patterns, and see if I can get the kinks worked out enough to cut into my silk. And if those 2 patterns don't work out for me, then I'll just keep looking for a slip dress pattern that is worthy of my Sicilian silk. So that's all I have for you today. If you liked this kind of content and you want to be notified when I post another video, please subscribe to my channel. It does not cost a thing, and it helps my channel show up in your feed and in other people's feeds that have similar interests. And like I said in my last video, we're up to 100 subscribers, which I'm very excited about. We're a little over now. I think we're at like 110, 112. And so, yeah, if you could like and subscribe and share with a friend that you think would like my channel, I would really appreciate it. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have a great day. I hope you get out and do something in the sunshine if the sun is shining where you are. And I will see you in the next vlog. Bye.